Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ramani Subramanian from Avagmah, and I request all you dear students to extend a warm welcome to our Guru of this morning. His name is Mr. Harish Devarajan. Harish, a warm welcome to you from all of us. Let me say a few words by way of introduction about our Guru. Harish has more than 28 years of experience in the corporate and consulting sectors. He started his professional career with TVS Sundaram Partners Limited in 1985, and then in 1989 joined Hindustan Lever Limited, India's leading multinational company. He has rich experience in change management at a global business context, having worked in Unilever UK as a global project manager, handling enterprise culture during the period 1999-2001, and having worked as a Vice President of HR Services in the period 2007 to 2008, when he managed major transformation agenda in 40 countries across 3 continents, that is Asia, Australia, and Africa. Harish is now a freelance leadership consultant and an executive coach. In 2008, he started his own coaching and consulting practice company called People Unlimited, which provides support in the areas of organizational performance and leadership effectiveness. His current focus is to help senior executives, entrepreneurs, and high potential leaders through coaching to become better in their leadership and managerial roles. Harish was honored with the Exemplary Leader Award as part of the Employer Branding Awards, India 2007, which recognizes excellence in human resources. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic Harish is going to deliver this morning is entitled Steps to Success. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Harish Devarajan. Over to you, Harish.
Good morning, friends. It's indeed my proud pleasure and privilege to be here this morning with you to share my thoughts, views, and experiences on this topic, Steps to Success. In terms of success, the way I would like to define it, not the absence of failure, it's really the attainment of ultimate objectives. Attainment of the goals at the end of a journey. Attainment of success throughout the pursuit and not necessarily at every step. As Edwin Bliss has said, it's winning the war and not every battle. And it's very important for us to understand success in this context, because failures are part and parcel of any success journey. Failures are but stepping stones. Failures are but opportunities to understand oneself, one's limitations, and thereby become more focused towards attaining the larger goal, the pursuit that we are after. And one needs to begin by asking the question, do I have a dream? So dream is really the seed of success. Everything begins with a dream. And it's important that we encourage ourselves to dream. And dream really big. The bigger we dream, the greater is going to be the challenge, and greater is going to be the satisfaction when we achieve it. We should not be constrained by the fear of failure when we dream. And when we dream, it's equally important for us to figure out as to whether we are sensing joy in our dream. If there is fear in our dream, it's not really a dream. It's probably what I would call a fear syndrome. It's not dream. Dream is positive. Dream is of a state that we wish to achieve. Dream is something that energizes us. Do we get excited by what we are dreaming? It might sometimes create some concerns about whether this is too big a step, but that's okay. As long as it excites us, as long as there is joy in the dream, and most importantly, is that something that keeps coming again and again to us? Is there sustainability in this being a dream? And we need to figure out how much are we willing to give to achieve the dream. Are we really prepared to strive for it? If it is something that we would give a lot to achieve, then it truly is our dream. And it's important for us to also check out, is this the top of the hierarchy of our wishes and dreams? Or are there things which are more important? Because if you really want to strive to achieve success in this area of your dream, it needs to be something up in the hierarchy of your dreams, of your wishes. And to be able to convert a dream to success, there are a few things which one needs to bear in mind. We need to have clarity around this dream. What exactly is this dream about? What does it entail? What does it have? And there must be a certain degree of conviction about the dream, that this is a dream that I am clear that I want to achieve. And why do I want to achieve it? And with clarity and conviction, we move into execution about how are we going to go about achieving this dream. And with this clarity, conviction, and execution, success follows. The basic foundation really, therefore, is what, why, and how. What is our dream? Do we know the nuances of the dream? What does it look like? What does the end state feel like? And why do we want this end state? Why do we want to reach that goal? And what happens if we don't? What is it that drives and motivates us towards the dream? And that's the conviction. And the greater that conviction, greater power. So once we know what the dream really is and why the dream is important, then we get into how are we going to go about achieving this dream, the execution steps. And the steps to success once we have a dream is really about what I call the ABCD of the success journey: attitude, balance, capabilities, and discipline. These 4 steps are foundational steps to succeed. And it's important that we have all of these. We have to move through these steps to really achieve success. And the success journey, the goal, the dream would be different for different people. It doesn't matter. These 4 steps are fundamental and true of every dream, every journey, and every pursuit. And I'm going to take some time elaborating on these 4 steps, which are what I call steps to success. As somebody said, life's battles don't always go to the stronger or the faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. That positive attitude, that positive feeling of I can is very, very important. For it is with that that energy flows. And it is with that that we will be able to overcome the stumbles, the roadblocks, and the kind of failures that one might have to face in that arduous journey towards our goal. And the attitude needs to have a certain set of components to it. We have to be optimistic and look for the silver lining. In every situation, there is a possibility that there are negative elements, there are pains, there are struggles, but we need to constantly keep looking for the positive elements. The silver lining in every cloud is important. And when we look at it and we sort of internalize it, we get the energy to move forward. It's equally important to focus on the now and not to postpone things to a later date, not to fret over what has been, not to worry about what the future will hold. Once you have set your eyes and mind on a goal, it's extremely important to focus on the now. What can I do now? What do I need to do to move forward and get down to doing it? Equally important is to have the thirst for knowing more, thirst for acquiring more, thirst for equipping ourselves more to move forward. And we need to learn how to learn. For the capability to learn is the most important thing. And the sense and the feeling that I can learn and I ought to learn and it will help me and I will keep learning all the time is part of that positive attitude that we need to build for ourselves. Equally important is self-belief. Belief in ourselves to be able to do what it takes. Belief in ourselves to keep learning. Belief in ourselves to overcome all difficulties. And that belief is what reinforces our energy and our commitment. And every morning and every moment, we need to reinforce ourselves with positive thoughts and not to clog our minds with negative feelings of what if I fail? What happens if I meet failure that I can't overcome? What happens if I don't have the capability? The more you think about this, the more you'll get stuck into the funnel of despair. It's important for us to energize ourselves with positive thoughts. Auto-suggestion and positive thinking are elements that have helped many people to succeed beyond description. I'd like to sort of share with you a couple of stories of folks who have actually had this positive attitude and have overcome things which others normally would have succumbed to. Thomas Alva Edison failed approximately 10,000 times when he was working on his light bulb invention. 10,000 times. But that did not sort of bog him down. With every failure, he looked at it as a movement towards the final discovery. And it is this which kept him going. And he finally invented the light bulb. After the invention of the light bulb, Edison kept working on many other inventions. And when he was 67 years old, he lost his lab to a fire. It was a fire accident, and his entire lab and workshop was burnt down. It was worth a few $1 million. More important, it had everything that he had worked on, notes and experiments, everything was stored in that lab. While everyone around him were so disappointed and upset, Edison said, there is great value in this disaster. All our mistakes are now burnt up. Thank God we can start anew. And for whatever he had worked, he had it in his mind, he rebuilt it, and rest is history. And then he invented the phonograph. That is epitome of positive attitude. The next step towards success is the balanced approach. And what do I mean by the balanced approach? Like the yin and the yang, it's about the head and the heart. It's about being rational and emotional at the same time. One cannot achieve success with just one approach. One needs to look at the plus and the minus, the black and the white, the dark and the light. And it is in combination of the dichotomy that one will be able to realize the appropriate approach to the moment and in the journey towards success. And it is not just about head and the heart. Quite often we will find that there has to be balance amongst many dimensions: cognitive and emotive, analytical and passionate. You just can't be the thinking type, you have to be the feeling type as well. For there will be moments when it is the passion which will drive you, even though rationality and analysis tells you that the road is blocked. Passion helps you to overcome certain roadblocks. Professional and personal. And when we look at goals, when we look at approaches, when we look at choices, we need to look at both personal and professional. Many corporate leaders tend to be blind to their personal ambitions, while others tend to be bogged down and wholly consumed by personal needs. It is those who are able to balance between professional and personal pursuits and are able to give it due weightage who are really able to succeed. For when you fail in one front, the success and the happiness in the other front help you to sort of move along, recoup from your disappointments. And that balance is extremely important. It is a balance which brings you a sense of calm, a sense of clarity, and helps you to move on. When you define goals, when you define justifications, one needs to balance between the economic and the social, and sometimes between the economic and the natural consequences. It is the balance that really ensures that our goals are sustainable. It cannot be just for profit. It has to be for a bigger cause, social contribution, or natural ecological protection. It is the balance between these different elements that ensures that the goal that we are pursuing is something which is sustainable, something that is inspirational, something that really ensures people find it to be worthwhile pursuing. We need to be both result oriented and process oriented, and the combination is what ensures that we get it right. Our measures have to be both quantitative and qualitative. To be only focused on the quantitative dimension would be grossly wrong. Or qualitative success and achievement and measurement has a lot to offer. I'm sure many of you are aware of market research and surveys, and good surveyors ensure that they adopt both the quantitative and the qualitative measures and approach to research and get inputs. Gaining and losing. It won't be gains all the time, neither will it be losses all the time. But it's important to learn from both experiences, and that balance is important. If one was winning all the time, there is the possibility of complacency. If one is losing all the time, there is the possibility of despondency. And that's why good coaches ensure that when teams are winning, they really pitch them against real tough opponents. They want them to be stretched. And if there is a failure or a loss, they're not worried about it. But they push them to learn from their experience. And when somebody is losing, they put the team against a slightly weaker opponent because they want them to get back the confidence and the belief in themselves to get back to winning times. And the combination of both is critical because there is learning from both these elements. Balance is an important element of our journey towards success. The next step is really about capability. Capability to do, capabilities to think, capabilities to move on. And capabilities are of different kinds. There is the theoretical capability, which I call as knowledge. And then there is the practical capability or the technical capabilities, what I call as skills. And third, most importantly, capabilities that come out of experience. And experience is nothing but the deployment of knowledge and skills, theory and techniques. And when we deploy it, there is an experience, and from that experience, we add further capabilities to ourselves. As a youngster, I used to play cricket, and whenever I bought myself a new cricket bat, my coach would say, "Have you seasoned the bat?" It's important to oil the bat and play with it in the net, allow the bat to get a little old to hitting the ball, and it is with that seasoning that the bat truly gains its capability to stroke the ball. And it is true with life as well. Learning alone is not enough. You need to learn both the theoretical and the practical aspects, and more importantly, deploy that learning and skills to be able to gain confidence with the capabilities. And we need to look for opportunities to learn in every corner, at every moment, and in every opportunity. And here are some different kinds of learning that successful people deploy. Learning from the past, history, reading about it, listening to mentors as to their experiences is a very powerful way of learning. For you don't want to be reinventing the wheel all the time. You don't want to burn your fingers because you have not experienced it before. But by reading and listening to others who have been through the journey is a great way to equip yourself with both knowledge and capabilities to move on. But you need to learn through practice. You need to form habits. While you know that this is the way to do it, habit forming is very important. For in moments of crisis, knowledge may not always come to your rescue. But if you have practiced enough, the muscular system, the nervous system kicks in moments of crisis. And you do what you have practiced to do so many times. The habit which is formed helps you to sort of save the day. And equally, therefore, practice and the past opportunities to learn are important. The other thing is to not just practice, but actually play. For it is experience of doing it, of playing the game, of actually being part of the journey, which builds confidence. It is only when you've played the game a few times that you're really prepared for the games that follow. A debutant, however skilled and capable, struggles in his first game because he doesn't have enough game practice. And game practice is experience. And through experience, we gain confidence and we learn through the analysis and reflection of that experience as well. Learning through teamwork for journey towards success is never solo. There are different people, different quarters from where we will get our support and help. And we should be able to tap into the resources and inputs from different quarters. And that is the learning that will come when we are being part of teamwork, where there has to be give and take. It's never your point of view. How do you balance between the diverse inputs that come into play? How do you ensure that there is a shared vision which gets created, building on the individual dreams of people? And that's the learning that comes through teamwork. Learning from failure, as I mentioned earlier. You learn to cope and you learn to rebuild. Young children, when they begin to learn to walk, they fall a number of times. No parent gets upset because the child is falling. They in fact encourage the child to keep trying, egg the child to get up and walk again, knowing fully well they will fall a few times. For it is through that journey of failure and falling that the child really learns to walk. And learning through new experiments, challenging oneself to do new things, different things, and to stretch the boundary, to push the envelope. And it is those challenges and experiments which really builds the capabilities that we need to acquire. And of course, reflection. We need time to think about what we are doing, what we have, and its appropriateness to the task on hand. And this reflection is the capability that we need to build. Some of us are only doers. We love acting and doing. Well, that's a great strength. It's important for us to balance between reflecting and doing. For this reflection helps us understand what is it that we're doing right, what is it that we need to do more of, what is it that we need to do less of, what is it that we need to do differently. And it is this reflection which helps us move from failure to success, from loss to gain, from defeat to victory. And this reflection is often the capability that a lot of people who have everything but don't seem to be doing it right need to be able to pull themselves out of the vortex of defeat and continuous losses to trend changing victory momentum. Most importantly is learning through feedback. If one were to assume that I know it all, I don't need any inputs or feedback or criticism from others, one is missing out on the opportunity to leapfrog the journey towards success. Of course, you can learn through your own experiences, but your lifetime is finite. And if you really want to achieve your big dreams, you better leverage on not only experiences from others, but also observation, feedback from others. So they sometimes are able to see in you what you are blind to. You know, the famous Johari window, which most students of psychology are familiar with. There are some things that you know, and there are some things that you don't know about you. There are some things which others know about you, and there are some things that others don't know about you. And it's the combination of this 2x2 matrix that really provides you a 360-degree input and feedback from which you become that much wiser. So there may be things that you know and others know, so which is in the open arena. There are some things that you know but others don't know, which is your internal understanding of yourself. And there are some things that you know and others don't know, which is really about what you know and it's not visible to others. And there are things that others know and you don't know. And these are your blind spots. And you learn from the inputs from others, which educate you about what you are not able to observe for yourself. And it is through this continuous knowledge that and feedback that you really keep learning and becoming better. The last step towards success is discipline. And this is probably the most important step. Very famous person said, half of the reason why you win is because of luck, and the other half is discipline. And the most important half is discipline, for without that you won't know what to do with your luck. And it's a combination of both luck and discipline which is required. And with discipline, you enhance the chances of luck occurring again and again. In many words, discipline is what really builds you up for success. And discipline is about continuously looking at yourself, challenging yourself, and reviewing your progress to see as to whether you have it in you to win, have it in you to succeed. And when you look at yourself, you have to figure out whether you have the self-control. For distractions are plenty in life. There are many things that you could be doing, and there are many sort of desires which come in the way of your dream. And to be able to reinforce yourself, the commitment towards your dream, the desire to achieve the final destination, should overcome the distractions and the temptations. That is self-control. And quite often, many dreams are unachieved. Many success is wasted on the wayside because lack of self-control. We have heard of champions who sort of give in to temptation and lose their success. Lance Armstrong, the famous world cyclist champion, who won so many of the Tour de France championships, was afflicted by cancer. Thanks to positive attitude and determination, he actually overcame that disease to win the Tour de France after his cancer affliction. But more recently, we discovered that he actually gave into temptation to drugs, performance-enhancing drugs as it were, and that helped him to win a few of the tournaments. Yes, while he succeeded in that short term, he left behind a legacy which actually talks about him as a man in shame, as a person who's truly not succeeded. He's won a number of tournaments, but he is not a success story for people to emulate. And that was because of lack of self-control. His belief was not complete in himself that he could actually jump back and win without the performance-enhancing drugs. And that is the discipline that we're talking about. We need motivation to actually keep reminding ourselves of why we are in this journey, why we are pursuing this path, and what is it that we are egged by. What is it that really matters to us? What is it that is in store? And it is that button, it is that trigger that one needs to identify and keep focused on to be able to move ahead. And that motivational trigger may be different for different people. For some, it will be the glory of the moment. For some, it's the opportunity to create support to others. For some, it will be the wealth that one is able to earn. For some, it is really the joy of the journey. And we need to understand that button, that motivation, and be able to keep pressing it again and again, reinforcing and reminding ourselves of why we are on this path. And that helps us to keep to the course and move ahead. And that again happens through review. We need to continuously review, seeing what's our level of motivation to pursue. Is it dropping? And why so? And what do we need to do to sort of get it back to the acceptable levels? Persistence is the mantra that ensures that we last the course, that we actually reach the destination that we are after. For, like I said, there'll be many stumbles and many failures, but the belief and the determination to keep going is most important. For without that, there is no way we will be able to achieve the success that we are after. Abraham Lincoln is an epitome of persistence. He is somebody who apparently had failures on multiple fronts, but he did not let it come in the way of his journey, and he moved on and kept at it. And we know the success that he achieved in his life. Becoming the President of the United States of America was a dream that built over time for him. In spite of the multitude of failures that he had, he lost many electoral battles. He struggled through his education. He had family problems, aplenty, but he did not let any of this rob him of his self-belief and his determination to go and achieve what he wanted. And he kept trying and trying and trying in the pursuit of his dream. And he is today a person who is recognized as someone who achieved success in the most important aspect of life, of being a great human being who inspired many and who actually carried the torch for American liberty and its philosophy of pursuit of happiness in that country, and to be able to provide opportunity to all to achieve similar success in their life. Practicing self-discipline is not easy, but there are a few things that help you to practice them. Be focused and stay the course. Ensure that you're practicing self-control. Visualize the dream state and get energized by it, and that's the motivation that's critical. Remind yourself that quitting is not an option. The success story is the combination of vision, commitment, and action, moving through the steps of positive attitude, right balance, appropriate capabilities, and the framework of self-discipline. It is this that ensures success in your pursuit. And when you think back and reflect on your dreams, whatever they may be, ask yourself, do I have a vision about which I have clarity and conviction? Do I have the commitment to sustain the journey? Is it something that I try to achieve? Is it something that I hope to achieve? Is it something that I have to achieve? Or is it something that I am committed and will achieve? That mindset check is important. Those who try, keep trying. Those who hope, keep hoping. Those who feel pressurized, feel the stress. But those who are committed are certain to succeed. And it is with that mindset that you have to approach your goal and vision and dream and get into action and act with commitment, conviction, and clarity. Building on the positive attitude, balancing between the different resources at your disposal, acquiring all the necessary capabilities, and being disciplined and not distracted in your pursuit. That will help you achieve your dreams. So this is the steps to success that I have experienced in my pursuit. I have seen successful people adopt in their pursuits. This is not necessarily all the things that they do, but these are absolutely the important things that they do. I'm sure you'll be able to add many more steps to the success story journey.
Okay, I want to thank you, Harish, for that very spirited presentation. You have left a great deal of points food for thought, and we still have a few minutes left before the classes commence. And I'm sure all the students out there have some questions to ask you, some points to make. So we are throwing open the discussion right now. I'm sorry, I just had a call from Mr. Harish Devarajan saying that his internet has let him down, and try as he might, he's not able to connect up again. In the meanwhile, as you know, it's getting to be 10:55 and you have to get ready for the class. So I request you to do two things. One is all the questions that have been asked, which Harish would have loved to answer. With your permission, I will forward these to Mr. Harish Devarajan. Okay? And Mr. Devarajan's replies will be forwarded back to you. And I will request our team to post it on the domain. So not only the questioner, but everyone who asks a question will get an idea of the answers that were provided by Mr. Devarajan. That's point number one. Point number two, thank you so much for being with us today. Very, very wonderful to have such a large number of students attending the GuruTalk. And on your behalf and on behalf of all of us as a team, I would like to thank Mr. Devarajan for what I think is a very insightful talk. It's a pity we couldn't take it to its logical conclusion, but technology unfortunately came in the way of our being able to do this. Now, you have a great number of tips and you have had a good number of examples given by Harish to pave the way for your success. I know you are all bent on it, as you should be, and I think the journey to success has been well scripted in this GuruTalk of today, and I'm sure you will use some of these ideas in your journey. So let me wish you on behalf of everyone here our grateful thanks. Now, you know, organizing a talk like this is not easy without the cooperation of a huge number of people. So I like to give a small vote of thanks, first of all to you who has made it possible by coming in such large numbers, and secondly to our respected Guru, who despite his various commitments volunteered to find the time to address all of us. And it was a very, very useful and enlightening presentation he made. I must also thank the Avagmah delivery team who have coordinated all the efforts, and I'd like to wish you a very good day. All the very best to you.